What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video. Now, I'm about to play a video by Ranty Flat Earth. Plenty of people on the debate panel and in the chat alongside these debates have been asking, where is Ranty, hence the title of this show. So Ranty has produced probably one of his best, if not his best video to date, and he's put it out there and put it in the Skype chats and in a few Facebook feeds, but I want to give it a bit more publicity, and if he was not working and out and about, not available to come on to the debates as he is currently, he would undoubtedly have presented this himself. Now, obviously it's an edited video with Ranty doing the narration, so you can actually hear his own words and his description, and it actually needs absolutely no further information from me. Anthony, Ranty actually sums it up beautifully in his video. So I'm going to transition across to that screen so you can actually see the video. At various points I'll make it big, and if there's any text on screen I'll make it smaller so you can actually read that text. So without further ado, hopefully you'll all get audio. This is Ranty Flat Earth's latest video. I will put his link in the chat box as the stream goes on.
When I filmed this, it was just one of a huge collection of ball-busting observations, and as I have that many, it was consigned to the evidence bin and not released anywhere. In fact, it's only when I was looking back through this same bin that I immediately spotted its significance. The work I had done subsequent to this video on compression helped me realise the value of this observation, and it is simply breathtaking to say the least. What we see here is firstly some ball-crushing proof. From a distance of 20.3 miles away and an observer height of 1 foot, all of those buildings should be long gone to Earth curve, if you were to believe in the ball model. 8 inch per mile squared would place the bottom of these buildings some 242 feet, hidden behind the imaginary curve. But guess what? We see them, all of them. Next, we have the sea truck panorama, which enters the video, and again, we see all of that boat too, which is a distance of 9.3 miles away, and half of that boat should again be hidden by Earth curve. Now that's the easy stuff. We see it because it's there, end of story. Or is it? Well, no. I wouldn't have been so enthusiastic about this observation if it was the case. You see, this single observation proves the compression of both the boat and the buildings in the narrow viewing angle. Let me show you how. Some months ago, on both Nathan Oakley 1980 and Globebusters, I showed them these images of the buildings of Barrow. Now, they were taken from the same set of photography done on this day in the same location. I took an image from 1 foot and an image from 30 feet, and I compared them. From 1 foot, 242 feet should have been hidden, and from 30 feet, 123 feet. My calculations showed that the higher observation had almost half the hidden as the lower image. I was also confident we were seeing all of the buildings in both, and decided to reverse engineer the curve calcs and compress the higher image to see if it showed a similar image to the lower one. By reducing the height of the top image by 49% and maintaining its width, I got this image, purely through compression. And when I compared it to the lower image, I was bowled over by its similarities. It was clear to me, right there and then, that the curve calcs were nothing but a compression calculator, hijacking perspective and replacing it with a nonsensical ball. I then started to work on comparing boats. Here we have the Stena Hibernia, and a very obvious difference between the two images. This image was taken from an elevation of 30 feet, the distance 6.5 miles, and this one was taken from an elevation of 1 foot, distance 6.5 miles. The top of the boats in both images are outside the very narrow viewing angle, and as such are exempt from any compression. Both the camera and our eyes can absorb all the information without issue. The compression problems start when we look at the 1 foot observation. As we look 90 degrees out over 6.5 miles, the very narrow viewing angle of the observer makes retaining all that information very difficult. And so the camera, much as our eyes would do, compresses everything in that angle to try and retain as much of the information as possible. For instance, take a look at the hull. It is orange, and it is clearly visible in both images. Take a look at the wording. It too is visible in both, yet the 1 foot observation shrinks the size of these by virtue of compression. Essentially, what we are seeing here is the width of the image is retained, but the height is reduced when it gets in that critical angle. Here is a sea truck panorama, the same boat we see in the video, both from a high and low elevation. Can you notice the same compression? Think about the compression of the boat, because you will see it in the video. Then think about the demonstration of the buildings, because that was taken from this spot. Let's roll the tape. As we watch the boat come into view, it passes right in front of the buildings. The hull of the boat is compressed, the top of the boat is not. But the buildings in the background are inside that critical viewing angle. Let's compare to the curve calcs. This is the point on the sea truck where the compression starts. And if we compare the height of the curve calcs, they are almost an identical amount. Curve calcs hijacking perspective. Now, those buildings should not be seen, and neither should the hull of the boat. Why is this? Well, as the months have gone on, it's become more obvious to me that the critical viewing angle causes at least two phenomena. The compression as seen in this video, and the inferior mirage as evidenced in other videos of mine. Both of these are used to hijack the real nature of our world. The optical effects of both would be to make the bottoms of the objects vanish first, the same as we're told happens on a curved Earth. Yet we never see any curvature. But we can evaluate optics. Let's apply some logical thinking and see what this means when looking at distant objects. Taking a side-on view of the compression, we can see the angle demonstrated here. Anything that falls into this angle is compressed. Everything outside of it is not, just as with the boat. Let's replace the boat with Blackpool Tower, and the further away we place the tower, more of it is pushed into that critical viewing angle. Let's reduce the angular size over distance to demonstrate the apparent size change over distance. Now you can see how perspective is hiding the bottoms. The compression gets greater the further away the object is, until eventually every point of data is lost and nothing can be seen.
I really have to move in a second because I am absolutely drenched now. Beautiful flat earth proof yet again from the promenade Blackpool, well, from the beach Blackpool. King George Avenue, directly adjacent to King George Avenue. Bloody hell.
So that is pretty much it. So of course I'm going to say first and foremost a massive, huge, enormous thank you to Ranty Flat Earth. I will put a link in one of the comments and pin it to the top of this video so you can subscribe to his channel. But obviously comment with your feelings and thoughts about that, but I would say that was absolutely spectacular, very well narrated, exceptionally good observations by Ranty Flat Earth. So give it up for him if you're in the chat. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!